details. Copy link. Okay.
1 second.
There we go. Just sent you the link.
All right.
General. Come join us in the live stream featuring Dan Buccini.
Old school guide.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Remy, I need you to go. I need you to go lay down. You had your snack. Let's see, update thumbnail 11:20. Nope. Here we go. Open. Save. Looks like we got about 44 people. Viking,
Wow.
Chester Williams, Massia, welcome back. B. Doran, Andreas, Eric Vandenberg, Mam6, like button caressed, and look a guest. RPG Holic, what's up? Ken Malloy, how's it going? Bigum Steve, good to see you, Bigum. Give me just a few more seconds, guys, and we'll get started. In the meantime, what are you doing, dog? Hold on. Oh my gosh, this dog. She pushed her chew toy with peanut butter in it behind my shelf. Dan, real quick, can you say a couple of things about, or just do a quick voice test so I can see how the levels
Yes.
are and everything? I know we just did this, but
No, I know. It's so funny. It's like, yeah, I can talk your head off until it's live, and then it's like, what do I have to say? No, it's gonna be a very nice change to be on a live stream, and haven't chatted with you in a while, so I think this is long overdue. And yeah, it's amazing to see how far you've come with this, Charlie, and how amazing the community is, and your ability to connect not only across servers but from mobile to Facebook as well. So your reach is massive. And I come from the era where it was the strongest Ishmael wins.
yeah.
And you have to have Ishmael and Jorgen, and Dorian was the best healer. And I come from this antiquated time, and I've just seen the game explode, and I've seen the community explode. And I'm glad my timing when I met you was early on, because all the resources you have now, and all the people in the community, we may not have been able to connect early on like that now, because it's just massive. It's really good to see.
Well, we'll talk about it a little bit more about that from my side. Actually, it's a big part of where I am today, actually. But it looks like, for the most part, I'm getting a lot of great feedback about the audio levels, and nobody's really had any issues with the delay in the voice. So I think we're good.
Good.
I think everything is good. That background, it's a pretty solid green screen, Dan.
Oh, it's it's Dominion. I'm here. Whoa.
Audio's good. Okay. So we are climbing. We are at 80 viewers and climbing, so we're gonna be good. So let's go ahead and get started. And first of all, what is up, Heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and today we have a special guest. Dan Buccini is I don't want to say older Hero Wars browser player, because he's definitely not old, but he's one of the guys that I connected with very early on in Hero Wars Central, and a lot of my early videos. In fact, most of my videos up until about probably February or March of this year, a lot of the references that I made were sourced from Dan Buccini's guide, which, if you go back to some of my older videos from 2019, in fact, a lot of my videos at the beginning part of this year, in the description of every single one of my videos, there's a link to Dan's Hero Wars guide. And he had everything in this guide from, max stats broken down by different category. and he had campaign walkthroughs, some team synergies, team one, team two, who you would suggest. A lot of the stuff that we talk about every day in our live stream now originated. The ideas originated, at least on my side, from Dan's guide. And as we continue to climb in viewers, of course, people are going to start watching this video after after it's live. But Dan, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? I know that I'd sent over the questions a little bit earlier, so
Yeah.
referencing that, kind of tell us a little bit about your background, where you play, and all that fun stuff.
Let's start. We'll start a little bit with the guide. Well, we'll start a little bit with my roots were on server 14, and it was 3 years ago. And there's still friends on server 14, even though most of my friends have moved either with me or to even lower servers. I've still met some new cool people on 14, some of which that are only a few weeks old. So I want to give a shout out to Miss Julia from the Dragons of Pain, who I just met, who reached out, having no idea that I was the pseudo internet celebrity like you, Charlie. You're the celebrity,
I don't
but
think I'm a celebrity.
behind the scenes man, with the early guide. And yeah, the at the time I decided to write the guide, I saw some people uh, investing a lot in hero. I mean, the game was nowhere near as popular, but people were investing a lot in some of the starting heroes, and they weren't very effective. So I wanted to give people a means to choose where to invest your resources, because you used to have just such few choices. But the game exploded. The guide is dated. The developers have done a really nice job making more builds viable. And like a major change that came with Yasmin was dodge. And if you read
Mm,
my guide, it says dodge is terrible.
yeah,
That's not true anymore. And it may not. Someone may have known teams earlier that wasn't true either. So I mean, there's definitely opinions in there. But dodge has become amazing. Um, a tank like Aurora is now a top tier tank, in my opinion. That was not the case. So the guide, because I wanted to span everything in the game in one document, it became way too big, way too hard to manage, way too hard to update. So my plans is to write smaller snippets about something targeted, like, hey, here's something that should help you in adventures. Here's something that should help you here. And rather than critique and narrow people down to, hey, here's the six heroes to do this, just here's one way, at least that I know of, or a few ways to accomplish this targeted task. So what I'm planning on doing, Charlie, if you're up for it, is I'll give you some material for your blogs. So it'll be
absolutely.
way more searchable online. And I recognize you as a community leader, or at least a rallying point for many people that you're server agnostic, you're platform agnostic, you're guild agnostic. I know you play, and I'm sure you beat up some people somewhere, but in general, your reach is just so much greater. And I used to, at the time you started this, I used to be PMing a lot of people, a lot of this information. I've kind of lost touch. I've kind of really,
I remember those
oh,
groups. I remember those groups. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it was a lot to keep up with. And so I really admire what you do, and now I'm getting a little taste of it here with the live stream. That this is way more people than I've ever reached at once. I definitely want to shout out Lupo just joined us from my guild. I just
Lupo.
have to give props to anyone with a 120 Heidi, or someone who shows me how to use Fox and Faceless. There's definitely a lot to learn. I'm a very opinionated hero player. I have a lot of opinions, and I can safely say at this point in the game, enough has changed, enough has grown, and the developers have shown me that they will balance the game. They'll make a lot more viable. That as we go on, that like if your favorite hero is Maya, and I'm not particularly fond of her right now, it's like, well, you should still level her, because that next new hero might have that combo with Maya,
Yep.
or she hasn't really been reworked that I know of. She might be due for a rework, and
Maybe. Maybe.
maybe they'll make another spawn of the Titan hero, which is what her story is, and there'll be this ridiculous synergy. Phobos was not a very popular hero for a very long time, and now he's in the undead group.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a lot more useful.
Yeah.
My general advice on heroes now is, if you've been playing a long time and you've invested in a lot of heroes, a lot of the heroes that are really good that have four skins, four different skins, and you've purchased three of them or whatever, maybe those heroes are really worth considering. But if you're debating, hey, do I want to build, um, do I want to build Corvus and Morgan? Well, they don't have any skins right now, so even if you play test them and they're not doing as good as, say, uh, Astaroth, your favorite tank, my favorite tank too,
Oh, Aurora's
uh,
my favorite tank now, by the way.
Aurora or Astaroth, they have
Yeah.
four skins, right?
True,
And
true, true.
You look at Corvus and you look what he does really well, and he just has a default skin, which is the most economical one to invest. So
Mm-hmm.
for a new player, absolutely jump on the new heroes. A lot of new releases are going to work with them. For an older player, you might say, "Hey, do I want to scrap what I've invested here?" I don't know why you would. So, and there's no reason to stay away from a hero just because they have four skins. But a hero like Yasmin with one attack skin, she's probably going to become nastier with additional skins. So, four seems to be the max. I'm sure they'll get heroes to five at some point
So
soon.
we were actually having a conversation about this in on Tuesday's live stream. There was a viewer in my chat that was around whenever they had uh, they
Dark
had
Magnus.
they had been around. They had the developers had stated multiple times that 1+2 was the max amount of skins that people were going to get, and then he said that he was around whenever Thea's winter skin was announced, and she was the first hero with four skins,
Yep.
and he took issue with it kind of because it was like it was opening like a can of worms. But
Mhm.
I'm with you. I think eventually they're going to be five skins. But a couple of points you made were very interesting. Thinking back, the dozens, if not hundreds, of people that asked me about Dodge teams, I told them that they were horrible because of your guy.
Sorry. Sorry,
Kind
everybody.
of referring back. Now, obviously, with Yasmin and the Dodge energy changes here on Facebook and Web, things are different. But and another one of the points that you made, I actually made a video saying that Corvus is the worst tank in the game right now, until he gets skins. But
Right, right.
but
And
it was clickbait, obviously.
yeah, he doesn't perform that well. But that's why when I did do the guide, I tried to do a power ranking at default skin only,
Right.
and then a power ranking at max skins, because that default skin only kind of gives you a projection of where they would be if skins are all equal, and that was just a numeric power rating, and really skills overcome it all. I mean, if you want to use Corvus and you want to use him effectively, if you have a very strong faceless and you clone Corvus, you're hitting that front line very, very, very hard. Very hard.
Yep.
Um, but you might say, hey, well, I'll just take Chaba and I'll clone Chaba, and now I'm going to swallow two people. So there's a tank with four skins that can also hit the front line very, very hard. But a default skin only, that's an economical investment. So like when I
Agree.
started, I bid into Orion because he only had one attack skin. When I started Kark, he had no other skins. It was default only, and those heroes were very effective, even though their power rating was a lot lower. They were very effective if used with the right support. So
Right.
you can play what you want. For newer players, like Drew is a great example for this. Drew is probably the best hero for killing bosses and adventures, and just in general all around this great hero. But if you're a brand new player, he's an expensive hero to get.
Yep.
Uh, can you do what he's doing with a newer hero? You probably could. Do you have to sideline whatever your plans were because there's just these feats of amazing out of this one hero? You can weigh and consider that.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I, and, and I actually most of the conversations I have surrounding Jew are, yeah, he's viable, but there are probably other physical attackers that are more easier to build teams around, and Jew excels at a meta that doesn't exist anymore because of Martha, and really good at fighting bosses. So adventures he's handy, campaigns he's handy, but even then,
Honestly,
campaigns you don't
yeah.
you don't need to you don't need to rush to the end of the campaign. But now that we've gotten to kind of a critical mass amount of people on the live stream here, it looks like we're getting close to 140, 150. Um,
Wow.
so a lot of people have been asking what you play on, and you're a Facebook player. I don't know if you've ever started a mobile or a web account, but you are primarily a Facebook player.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your guild. I got people asking what server and what guild and how you guys are doing in Guild Wars. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well,
I know you
I
kind of talked about it a little bit already, but
so I've really only played. I mean, I did start in a bronze guild really early on, but for the 3 years I've been playing, I spent 2 years with one guild and 1 year with this current guild, the Growlers. And really, what happened is over the time, people will move, people will come and go from guilds, and you should just be understanding of that. If someone's not happy where they are, just let them go.
right.
I had made friends a lot on server 14, and even when I moved to 13, a lot of great people. But I stayed in touch with people as they moved to other servers, and I tried throwing 60 people together on one massive group chat. And we were going to run two guilds, and I just made this big open here we are thing, and it didn't necessarily respect everybody else's wishes, but it was a chance for me to consolidate chats because I used to be in two different guilds. And so right now, the Growlers are a core of the core remains intact from their homes on server 15. They moved to 14, where I fought them. They even scared me off the server, some of them. But it was a number of guilds coming to that server at that time. I did move to 13 with a different guild, Legion. A lot of the remains have moved to server 10, I believe. The Growlers wound up moving to server 6. They weren't happy with certain things there. And a good portion of them said, hey, we're looking for a new home. I said, come to 13. I'll throw everyone together. We'll make it work. We had an old GM who wanted to kind of relax, take the foot off the gas, and I was pushing for max rewards. So I thought this will be cool. We'll have one group that'll play more relaxed and casual. The other group that's going to go for max rewards, really push people, and we'll share a chat and we'll help each other out, and we'll do all the things that I like to do, like all the advice and guides, set up these massive chats. And I just magically expected 60 people to get along, right? I threw them all together. And it didn't happen. It was kind of a rough period, but everybody who chose to do something else and go to another guild, and that's fine. And some of them I'm in touch with, and the people that stayed behind and were playing on 13, I'm really appreciative for. It's a good group. I know everybody at times, you're getting 30 people together. It's a competitive game. I know at times people can fire off, but in general, it's a supportive group. It's like if someone PMs you and says, hey, can I have your spot in arena? It's my reward time. We lowered defenses. A lot of us after our reward time will take a hero down. But I'm past that point where I'm going to go onto a server and say, hey, here's what we should do as an etiquette thing. Let's get everybody to do. It's very hard to get a lot of people to buy into something like that.
Absolutely.
So there's enough of us that set an example doing that. When it's your reward hour, whoever you're fighting against, it is competitive. I mean, people are attacking you to the last second, and that's the game. When it's not your reward hour, we try to get people to quote unquote vacate the top spots.
Right. That's something that I should probably consider doing a video on. I don't think I've ever touched anything like that. The whole arena etiquette conversation.
It's a touchy one, and I think if you get into that, you can't impose it. Like I've seen, and I'll point the finger at myself. I've seen other people do this. I guess to an extent, I have too at times tried to get everybody to do this. Like when I was on 14, I really tried to get the whole server together, and when some other powers that be came in and tried to make rules, like you can't attack 15 minutes before reward. Some people tried to impose these rules, and that's when it snapped in my head, and I said, no, you can't do this. You can't take away parts of people's fun in the game. You can suggest, especially amongst GMs or certain top players, you can get usually like there was a server merger. I think it was 17, And I just saw some of the players from Server 17 just lowering their defenses. Like, oh, this is awesome. I don't even have to ask them if it's their reward time or no. I see that there's only four heroes there. I'm going to attack them. I have these two choices, but I'm going to go for this one because he's already got his gems or she's already got her gems. So I've been playing for 2 years prior to that merger, and now I'm seeing new players joined in, and they had a better way of doing it. So I've
Yeah.
adopted it, and some other people have too, and it's something that we'd like to see it grow. Maybe this is. I didn't think that this would be what I'd try to use this platform for, but yeah, that's a really good. It's a good thing to do if you're on and you can, and many people have working situations where they're not on at the reward time, or they have to climb up early, or they
Right. Yeah.
and you can't expect everybody to do that. That's not fair. But if you can do it, it's a totally cool thing to do.
Well, I know that my audience prefers the style of video where we talk about strategy and ideology and the way of doing things instead of my just reciting facts from the game. Now I feel I have to do some of those baseline videos because the whole reason why Hero War Central came into being was because whenever I started playing and I started researching, the resources that were available were dated and sparse. So that's kind of why that's why majority of my videos are basic introductory style videos. But I think that I would, any opportunity I have to discuss something like that, the guild rapport level of building a guild. Because I'll be honest with you, the main way people get in touch with me is Discord, and people will have missed private messages in game that they've sent to me that I haven't seen for 10 days, 2 weeks at a time, when I should be looking at those every single day. But here we are. So what team do you play? What's your main team? Dan, are you there? Did we lose audio? Can anybody hear me? Is everybody hearing me? But we lost audio from Dan. His audio cut out. Okay. Let me message him. Um, can't hear Dan. Okay. Dan is muted. I have not. Did I mute Dan? I don't think I did. More. No. Here, let's do a quick test, guys. Let's do a quick test. I'm gonna throw up some music and see if you guys can hear the music, and so we can kind of mic meter showing up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting, interesting. Can you guys tell me if you guys can hear this music? No, can't play the song. You know what I think happened? Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. Sound. This is just like what happens with. Oh my gosh. Okay, Dan, can you hear me now? Nope, still nothing. Yeah, I guess try to call me back, Dan. Yeah, there's no music either. We were literally mid conversation. We were mid conversation, and it just cut out. Time to build a Windows machine. Now I'm not even. It's crazy. Okay. Dan, can you hear me? Okay, I still can't hear you. So we have some kind of situation here. Give me one sec to figure this out, guys. I think I might have an idea of what happened. But at the same time, I have no idea. Sorry, everybody that's watching. Crazy technical difficulties. Can you put your Discord and web page in the description? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Although the time I take doing that, let's see, there was a problem with your speakers. Connect to other speaker. Update your audio drivers. Okay, we're just going to try to restart the computer. Guys, we're just going to restart. We're just going to restart.